Hi guys, Derek here. So this is a part of a cave that I found. I picked up one day, and I believe I used this to minister. So how did I use it to minister? Maybe you can guess. Think about it. I give you 2 seconds to guess how. Okay, I'll talk about it later. So this video is kind of about how we minister every day. And I really don't like the image of ministry right now. I don't like the image of emasculated men who are basically there for the wrong reasons. Because if you're ministering at a church because you want to find your identity through ministry, you can't. I mean, the only way to find your identity is through communion with the Father. And it's all about the motivation. And I see a lot of men, they seem kind of emasculated in a way. Because they're not following their heart, I think. They're following, there are men that are emasculated because they're following society. They're just following what they've been told to do. And then there are men that seem emasculated in the church because they are following a ministry in order to get something that they lack. And what a real man, I believe, does, if he knows the Father, if he has tasted and seen that the Lord is good, is he understands that the gospel is about taking off the old you. The old you is like getting up in the morning, and your reason for getting up is to get money or to get a girl or to get power or to get something. Putting all that away because it's dysfunctional, but changing into following Jesus. And that's the only way that makes sense, because if you really understand, like, this is the way that works in the world. Love is the only thing that works. And I've said this in my other videos, I think. It's like, what is the only thing that could solve all the problems of the world? It's got to be love. It can't be intelligence. It can't be science. It can't be math. It can't be money. Only love can solve all problems. So if you become love, it's like you're becoming like God. And you're able to solve the problems of your head as well, because you're not really living for those things anyway. And I've seen how much this works, and I've seen how it, like Paul talks about in the gospel, in the letters to the churches. He's talking about how every day he's putting off the old and putting on the new. He's killing the self every day, because the self is self-centered, and self-centered living doesn't work. But selflessness works because there is a God. Because if you are living for others, it is assuming the position that all your needs are already like met, and it's very powerful. It's almost like an alpha. I mean, I like to link it back to self-improvement for men. It's like an alpha male kind of thing, because it's like in the pack of I don't know, wolves or something. Like the alpha always eats last, because he's always like, he has enough and he's not worried about not getting enough food. He always eats last. So it's almost taking off that perspective where you are connected to God, you have love flowing to you, and your cup is overflowing, and you see that people around you don't know that God is good, They don't, sorry. They have the misconception of God, and so they never know what it's like. They never know what real love feels like. They may they may be in a relationship, or they may have parents that love them, but they never know what unconditional love feels like. So yeah, just it breaks my heart to think like that people don't know. And what I'm saying, as going back to the video, sorry, is knowing God and knowing the Father. It's like you see the love, right? And you want people to know. You want people to see. And that should be your reason for serving in ministry or just following God. And okay, going back to what I said, was like, I was just I was on a trip. Okay, I'll pull it together. Sorry. I was on a trip, and I was just at a cave, right? And most people are kind of just going through it, taking pictures and selfies and stuff. Well, I guess you couldn't. I'm kind of assuming that, but they were just kind of running through it because it was dark. So I was just assuming because I don't know why they're running through it, but I was just kind of going, taking my time. And there's this friend with me. She was a girl, and I don't know why I say she was a girl, but I found this on the ground, and like personally, since I'm a believer in God, I think that all the rules and all the laws that God created that allowed this thing to look as it does is amazing. And it's almost like believing in something being through knowledge higher than myself. Something like this was created. The design was created. And the laws that govern this design were thought out so precisely that this thing came to form just as it did. And I like it. And it was on the ground, so I picked it up, and I, out of a kind of a childlike curiosity, I took it with me. And the girl said something like she's never met anybody like me. And I think that promoting any kind of like, I wasn't doing it for her or whatever, but I was just curious about the world, and I took this with me, and it's like just any kind of thing that we do out of belief and out of a positive view of the world, out of belief in good and belief in meaning, and in even seeing things as creation. It's like that implies an incredible intelligence and a artist to appreciate even a cloud or a rainbow or a piece of rock like this. And I think that is real. That is one real aspect of ministry, is just going through your life and living with the belief in God. And I think that personally for me, it's what makes me also feel like a man, because I'm following what my heart really has always believed since I was a kid. And I've always believed in something, and I've always believed that God is real, but it took me a long time to figure out that his name is so profaned, as is prophesied as well that it would be, and his image is so torn from what it really is. And when we see who he really is, that's what really makes us see how loved we are. And then that makes us want other people. That makes us love other people, because he sees us in a certain way. It makes us see others that way too, knowing that we're all equal, knowing that he loves others just that much, just as much. And so I want to say that, like, I had a debate last night with a friend. He's an atheist, and he's a really smart guy. And he used to be in a Catholic church, which I think is horrible, because it fills your head with the version of the gospel which had been used to control people. They took the gospel, they created all this man-made stuff to have power, basically. So I can understand why he's turned off from God and the gospel, but it's a very immature view of faith and of the real message. And he was kind of implying that I'm not like a man for following, because I'm following something. But I think there's different layers to it, really, right? Like there's a group of men or people who follow the gospel, and you can kind of see that they're following it. And when they start to become kind of effeminate, and they start to just become kind of passive and a pushover, it kind of goes to show that they're following it for something that they can get, which is not the real gospel. You know, the real gospel is really believing in the power of love, and really believing in what Jesus said, which is like, just put off the old, put on the new. Just love your father, your mother, your sister, everybody around you. Love God, love your neighbor, and everything else will come to you. It's like first seek the kingdom and everything else will come to you. And when you do that, you find that the greatest way that you can love people is to walk out love. It's kind of a ironic. It's like the greatest way that you can love people is to be the highest expression of yourself and love others. And when you do that, it's like you want them to experience what you experience, you know. And that's naturally what ministry becomes. It's like you just want people to know, you know. And yeah, I just hope that this was of value to you. The reason, okay, so yeah, this thing, the other thing is that last night I had a dream about this thing. I had a dream that I was in a battle and I forgot my axe. I think because I like Viking stuff, sometimes I get dreams that kind of are in alignment with what I like and don't like. So I forgot my axe, right? I had these other swords and stuff, but they weren't really working. There was like an army and we were trying to fight the army. And then like this demon, I can't really remember exactly what happened, but I shoved this thing, I shoved this thing in the eye of the guy. It was actually a dude, but when I shoved it in his eye, it became like a demon or something, and he died, I think. So, forgive my weird, wacky interpretation of my dream, but it's like, it made me think about little stuff that we do to spread love, and how we do things to show love to other people. No, sorry. We do things that show that as a side effect, as a byproduct of living by faith, it is ministering, yeah. So you can minister with everything. You can minister with this tape somehow, I don't know. But just being yourself, like when you're just being yourself with that faith in your heart. And naturally, I believe that leads to, if you're following your heart really, that leads to a masculinity. In a way, it leads to a, you know, because what is masculinity? It's about purpose, drive, mission. And the greatest mission that you can do as a man is to provide for your community. So I don't see how any other way, like that's the best way to provide, is to provide for the spirit, to the soul, you know. Sorry, this video was weird, eh? It was all over the place. Maybe somebody liked it, I don't know. Thank you guys. I'm gonna be making I'm working with the churches here actually, and maybe gonna be making some kind of like short film series about faith-based short film series, which would be awesome. So I don't know, maybe I'll be able to put it on this channel. So anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.